Gentlemen, if you are over 60, first of all, congratulations. You've made it through decades of work, raising families, facing challenges, and building wisdom. And now, more than ever, it's time to take care of yourself, not just for your own health, but for the people who love you. Because here's the truth. What you eat every single day has a direct impact on how you feel, how you move, and how long you stay strong, vibrant, and independent. I want to talk to you today about something so simple yet so powerful: nuts. You may grab a handful without thinking, toss them on your salad, or enjoy them as a snack. But not all nuts are created equal, especially for men in their 60s and beyond. Some are silently working against your health, while others can literally protect your heart, your brain, and even your testosterone levels. So let's break this down. There are 4 nuts that you should really think twice about. And there are 4 nuts that deserve a regular place in your diet. My goal is not to scare you, but to empower you with knowledge so that the next time you reach for a snack, you're making a choice that supports your health instead of harming it. The first nut I want you to be cautious about is the cashew. Now, cashews taste amazing, and they show up in so many mixed nut packs. But here's the problem: they are higher in carbs than most nuts, and they can spike your blood sugar. For men over 60, blood sugar control is critical. High blood sugar doesn't just mean diabetes risk. It means more belly fat, more inflammation, and more stress on your heart. Second, macadamia nuts. They're delicious, buttery, and you might hear they're healthy. But here's the catch: they're extremely calorie dense. Just a small handful can pack more calories than you realize, and for men who may not be burning as many calories as they did in their 20s or 30s, that can lead to gradual weight gain. Extra weight around the waist is a major risk factor for heart disease and prostate problems. Third, let's talk about pistachios, specifically the salted, roasted kind you find in big bags at the store. The nuts themselves aren't bad, but the problem is the sodium. Excess sodium raises blood pressure, puts a strain on your kidneys, and increases your risk for stroke. Many men over 60 already struggle with high blood pressure, and those salty snacks just add fuel to the fire. And finally, pecans. I know they show up in pies and treats and taste amazing, but they are high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, omega-6 aren't bad by themselves, but when they outweigh omega-3s in your diet, they promote inflammation. Chronic inflammation is behind so many age-related diseases: arthritis, heart disease, even cognitive decline. So those are the 4 you should limit: cashews, macadamias, salty pistachios, and pecans. Not because they are poison, but because they are not doing your body the favors it needs at this stage of life. Now, let's shift to the positive side. Which nuts should you reach for to support strength, energy, and longevity? Number 1, walnuts. These are powerful for your brain. Walnuts are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, which support memory, reduce inflammation, and improve circulation. Men over 60 are at higher risk for cognitive decline, but walnuts are like fuel for your brain cells. A handful a day can make a real difference. Second, almonds. These are fantastic for your heart. Almonds lower bad cholesterol, stabilize blood sugar, and provide vitamin E, which protects your cells from aging. They also help with bone health, which is critical as men lose muscle and bone density after 60. Third, Brazil nuts. But here's the key: just 1 or 2 a day. These nuts are extremely rich in selenium, a mineral that supports testosterone levels, boosts fertility, and improves thyroid health. For men, maintaining testosterone after 60 is so important for energy, muscle, and even mood. Just don't overdo it. Selenium is powerful and you only need a little. And finally, hazelnuts. These often get overlooked, but they are incredible for your cardiovascular system. They support good cholesterol, provide antioxidants, and help reduce inflammation in your arteries. That means better blood flow, better heart health, and even better sexual health, because good circulation affects every part of your body. So here's what I want you to take away. Nuts can be your friend or your enemy, depending on which ones you choose. Cashews, macadamias, salty pistachios, and pecans limit them. Walnuts, almonds, Brazil nuts, and hazelnuts embrace them. At this stage of life, every choice matters. You've worked too hard and come too far to let small habits steal your energy and vitality. By making simple, intentional decisions, by swapping out the wrong nuts for the right ones, you are actively choosing better heart health, better brain function, better hormone balance, and ultimately a better quality of life. When men cross the age of 60, the body begins to work differently than it did in earlier decades. Metabolism slows, muscle mass decreases, blood sugar control becomes more difficult, and the cardiovascular system is more vulnerable. At this stage, food is no longer just about taste, it's about medicine. And one area many men overlook is nuts. They seem so small, so innocent, that it's easy to assume all nuts are good. But that's not the case. Certain nuts, while tasty, can actually work against your health goals. Four in particular, cashews, macadamias, pistachios with heavy salt, and pecans, are the ones you should be most cautious with. Let's start with cashews. On the surface, cashews look harmless. They're creamy, soft, and often used in healthy-looking recipes. But what many don't realize is that cashews are one of the highest carb nuts. Compared to almonds or walnuts, they can raise blood sugar much more quickly. For men over 60, this is a serious issue. Your body's ability to handle glucose is not the same as when you were 30. Insulin resistance becomes more common, and the risk of type 2 diabetes grows higher with each passing year. Spikes in blood sugar don't just increase the chance of diabetes, they also increase belly fat, which is directly linked to heart disease and low testosterone. So while cashews may taste good, eating them regularly is like quietly pushing your body in the wrong direction. Next, macadamia nuts. They have a luxurious taste, smooth and buttery. Many people say they're healthy because they are high in monounsaturated fat, which can be good for the heart. But here's the hidden trap: macadamia nuts are extremely calorie dense. Just a small handful packs a large number of calories, and it's very easy to overeat them without realizing it. After 60, metabolism slows down significantly and physical activity levels often drop. Extra calories that once might have been burned off now stick around the waistline. And abdominal weight gain is not just cosmetic. It's a major risk factor for heart disease, prostate problems, sleep apnea, and even certain cancers. That extra handful of macadamias may feel small, but over time, it contributes to weight gain that makes everything else harder. Now let's talk about pistachios, but not just any pistachios. The salted, roasted, heavily seasoned ones that are sold in big bags. The nut itself isn't the biggest problem, it's the sodium. Most men already consume far more sodium than they should, often from bread, processed meats, or packaged foods. Adding salty pistachios on top of that is like pouring gasoline on a fire. Sodium increases blood pressure, damages blood vessels, and forces the kidneys to work harder. For a man in his 60s, high blood pressure is already a leading risk, and every extra pinch of salt increases the strain. High blood pressure isn't just about the numbers on a chart. It directly increases the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and even kidney disease. So while pistachios can be part of a healthy diet, the salted ones in the snack aisle are something you need to avoid if you truly want to protect your heart and brain. And finally, pecans. These are sweet, soft, and commonly used in desserts. On paper, they look fine, they provide fiber and healthy fats. But the problem lies in the balance of those fats. Pecans are high in omega-6 fatty acids. Your body needs omega-6, but not in the large amounts most diets already provide. When omega-6 levels get too high compared to omega-3s, it creates an environment of chronic inflammation inside the body. Inflammation is silent, but it damages blood vessels, stiffens arteries, worsens arthritis, and accelerates the aging process. Men in their 60s are already battling inflammation from decades of wear and tear. Eating large amounts of pecans only adds more fuel to that fire. So when you put these four nuts together, cashews, macadamias, salty pistachios, and pecans, they create a perfect storm for men over 60. Cashews push blood sugar in the wrong direction. Macadamias sneak in excess calories that settle as belly fat. Pistachios coated in salt raise blood pressure, and pecans feed inflammation. Each one by itself may seem small, but over weeks, months, and years, the effects build up. That's why it's so important to be intentional. Choosing the wrong nuts isn't going to destroy your health overnight, but think about the long-term impact. Every handful is either supporting your heart, your brain, your hormones, or silently pushing against them. By avoiding these four types, you're not depriving yourself. You're giving your body the environment it needs to thrive even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. When men reach their 60s, the body begins to demand more support than ever before. Muscle mass is slowly declining, bones become thinner, hormones shift, and the brain may not process information as quickly as it once did. The choices you make with food can either accelerate decline or slow it down dramatically. And one of the simplest, most powerful food groups you can lean on is nuts. Not just any nuts, but the right ones, the ones proven to support your brain, your heart, your hormones, and your long-term vitality. 4 stand out above the rest: walnuts, almonds, Brazil nuts, and hazelnuts. Each one has a specific role in protecting men over 60, and together they form a nutritional safety net that can truly transform the way you age. Let's begin with walnuts. They look like tiny brains, and that's no coincidence. They are one of the most powerful foods for brain health. Walnuts are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, particularly alpha-linolenic acid, which helps reduce inflammation in blood vessels and improves circulation to the brain. For men in their 60s, when the risk of memory decline and cognitive impairment rises, this is priceless. But walnuts don't just help the brain. They lower LDL cholesterol, improve blood vessel flexibility, and reduce overall inflammation. This means better heart health, fewer stiff arteries, and lower risk of heart attacks. Adding just a handful of walnuts a few times per week can make a real difference in how sharp you feel and how well your heart continues to perform. Next are almonds, one of the most widely consumed nuts, and for good reason. Almonds are incredibly heart protective. They contain high amounts of vitamin E, a fat-soluble antioxidant that shields your cells from oxidative stress, the wear and tear that accelerates aging. For men, this means your heart cells, your blood vessels, even your skin cells are better protected. Almonds also help stabilize blood sugar by slowing down the release of glucose into your bloodstream. This is critical for men who are pre-diabetic or diabetic, conditions that become increasingly common after 60. Beyond that, almonds provide calcium and magnesium, which are essential for maintaining strong bones and preventing fractures. At a stage of life when bone density is steadily declining, this simple nut becomes a daily defense against frailty. Then there are Brazil nuts. Now, these must be eaten with care. Just 1 or 2 a day is enough. Why? Because Brazil nuts are the richest natural source of selenium, a mineral most people don't get enough of. Selenium is vital for proper thyroid function, which in turn controls metabolism and energy levels. But perhaps even more importantly for men, selenium supports healthy testosterone production. As men age, testosterone naturally declines, leading to fatigue, reduced muscle, and lower libido. Having adequate selenium helps preserve hormone balance and vitality. In fact, low selenium levels are linked with a higher risk of prostate problems, something men over 60 must always be aware of. So while you don't want to eat handfuls of Brazil nuts, they're simply too concentrated, you should consider making 1 or 2 a daily habit to protect hormones, energy, and prostate health. And then there are hazelnuts, which often don't get the attention they deserve. They are rich in monounsaturated fats, which improve cholesterol levels and keep the cardiovascular system healthy. Hazelnuts also contain folate, a B vitamin that plays an important role in reducing homocysteine levels in the blood. Elevated homocysteine is linked to a higher risk of heart disease and cognitive decline. By lowering it, hazelnuts help protect both your heart and your brain. On top of that, hazelnuts provide manganese and copper, minerals that aid in the production of energy inside your cells. For men who want to feel strong, active, and capable in their 60s and beyond, this small nut quietly fuels the engine that keeps everything running. What makes these 4 nuts so powerful is not just their individual benefits, but the way they complement each other. Walnuts provide brain-boosting omega-3s. Almonds deliver heart, protective vitamin E and minerals for bone strength. Brazil nuts offer selenium for hormones and prostate health. Hazelnuts contribute circulation, supporting fats and micronutrients for energy. Together, they target the 4 areas most critical to men after 60: heart, brain, hormones, and bones. The beauty of this is that you don't need massive amounts. A small handful of mixed walnuts and almonds plus 1 or 2 Brazil nuts and a few hazelnuts sprinkled on yogurt or oatmeal can give you daily protection. It's not complicated, and it doesn't require drastic lifestyle changes. It's a matter of choosing intentionally, reaching for the nuts that nourish your future instead of the ones that silently chip away at it. These are foods that empower you, that fuel longevity, and that allow you to continue living with strength and confidence. Every time you choose walnuts over cashews, almonds over salted pistachios, Brazil nuts over pecans, and hazelnuts instead of macadamias, you're not just eating, you're investing in years of better health, clearer thinking, stronger energy, and a body that supports the life you want to live. When it comes to nuts, many people assume they're all healthy, that it doesn't really matter which ones you eat. But that's not the truth, especially for men over 60. At this stage in life, balance becomes the central theme of health. The body is more sensitive to stress, hormones are changing, blood vessels are more fragile, and energy production isn't what it used to be. Because of that, every single bite you take has a stronger impact than it did when you were younger. The nuts you choose can either nourish and protect or quietly undermine the balance your body is working so hard to maintain. Not all nuts are created equal. Some are high in carbs and raise blood sugar quickly. Others are loaded with omega-6 fatty acids, tipping the delicate balance between inflammation and healing. Some come coated in salt or sugar, which only adds stress to your blood pressure and your metabolism. On the other hand, certain nuts provide exactly what men over 60 need: brain-boosting omega-3s, heart-protective antioxidants, hormone-supporting minerals, and circulation-enhancing healthy fats. That's why balance matters so much, not just balance in the diet overall, but balance within the nuts you eat. Consider blood sugar. By the time most men reach 60, their ability to process glucose is not what it used to be. The pancreas may not release insulin as efficiently, and the cells may not respond as well. Eating nuts high in carbs, like cashews, can cause sharp spikes that don't just make you feel sluggish, but actively damage blood vessels over time. Compare that to almonds, which are lower in carbs and high in fiber, slowing down the release of sugar into your bloodstream. One nut can work against balance, while another restores it. Now think about inflammation. Inflammation is at the root of so many conditions that affect older men: arthritis, heart disease, cognitive decline. Pecans and other nuts rich in omega-6 can make this worse when eaten in large amounts. Omega-6 fatty acids compete with omega-3s in the body, and when the ratio is skewed, inflammation runs higher. But walnuts, which are rich in omega-3s, do the opposite. They calm inflammation, improve circulation, and protect the brain. Again, one nut pushes the body out of balance, while another brings it back into harmony. Then there's sodium. Men over 60 are often told by their doctors to keep an eye on blood pressure. High blood pressure is not just a number. It damages kidneys, weakens arteries, and increases the risk of strokes. Salted pistachios, though enjoyable, add to the burden. But raw or lightly roasted nuts like hazelnuts or unsalted almonds give you the same satisfaction without sabotaging your cardiovascular system. It's not about removing joy from food. It's about finding the right version that helps you maintain equilibrium. Hormonal balance is another piece that can't be ignored. Testosterone levels decline naturally after 60, and with that comes fatigue, muscle loss, and even mood changes. Few people realize that certain nutrients, like selenium from Brazil nuts, directly support testosterone and thyroid function. Just 1 or 2 Brazil nuts per day can give you all the selenium you need, keeping your hormones in check. Too much, however, can tip the balance the other way, so moderation becomes the key. That's why balance doesn't only apply to choosing between different nuts, but also to the portion you eat. What makes this conversation so important is that men often think about balance in terms of big lifestyle changes, exercise routines, medication adjustments, or diets that feel overwhelming. But balance is also in the little things, like whether you reach for salted or unsalted, carb heavy or fiber rich, omega-6 dominant or omega-3 supportive. Over time, those small daily choices build into patterns that either protect your health or make you more vulnerable. The beauty of nuts is that they can be a convenient, satisfying, and powerful tool for health. They don't require cooking, they travel easily, and they pack nutrition into a small package. But the key is choosing wisely. By leaning toward walnuts, almonds, Brazil nuts, and hazelnuts, you are supporting balance in the areas of life that matter most after 60: stable blood sugar, reduced inflammation, controlled blood pressure, and steady hormones. By limiting cashews, macadamias, salty pistachios, and pecans, you are avoiding the foods that push your body into imbalance, even if the effects aren't obvious right away. This is what true health in your 60s and beyond is all about, not extremes, not cutting out entire food groups, but choosing with intention. The balance you create through those choices will reflect in how you feel when you wake up in the morning, how much energy you have to move, how clearly you can think, and how confidently you can continue to live life on your terms. When men reach their 60s, it's easy to think that the big changes are behind them, that most of their health outcomes are already determined. But the truth is, what you do every single day matters more now than ever before. At this age, the body is more sensitive to the impact of food, movement, and lifestyle choices. Small decisions, the kind you may not even think about, add up to enormous results over time. And one of those small, simple decisions is as basic as the nuts you choose to snack on. Think about it this way. Every day you're going to eat something between meals. It might be a handful of nuts, maybe something sweet, maybe chips or crackers. These choices might feel too small to matter, but they create long-term patterns. Reaching for salted pistachios instead of walnuts, cashews instead of almonds, pecans instead of Brazil nuts. It doesn't seem like a big deal in the moment, but repeated daily. These habits build the foundation for either strength and vitality or decline and disease. The beautiful thing is that you don't need to overhaul your entire diet to see benefits. Replacing a few less supportive nuts with ones that truly nourish your body can protect your heart, brain, hormones, and energy levels. Walnuts bring omega-3s that keep your mind sharp. Almonds stabilize blood sugar and lower cholesterol. Brazil nuts fuel your testosterone and thyroid health with selenium. Hazelnuts provide circulation, friendly fats, and micronutrients that help every cell make energy. Each handful is an investment in your future, a way to buy more time with better quality of life. It's also important to realize that consistency matters more than perfection. Nobody expects you to eat the right nuts every single time. Life is about balance, enjoyment, and variety. But if most of the time you're choosing the nuts that serve your body well, the impact will be profound. Imagine this: instead of a slow, steady rise in blood pressure, your numbers remain under control. Instead of creeping weight gain around your waist, your metabolism stays steadier. Instead of losing focus and sharpness, your memory remains reliable. Those are the results of small, daily actions compounded over time. Every man over 60 should ask himself this: what kind of life do I want to be living at 70, 80, or even 90? Do I want to be energetic, independent, able to walk, travel, and enjoy family? Or do I want to be limited by preventable conditions like diabetes, heart disease, or cognitive decline? The answer lies in the choices you're making today. And while that may sound heavy, it's actually empowering because you have control. The handful of nuts you pick up today is either moving you closer to strength or nudging you towards struggle. Even the smallest swap can trigger a ripple effect. Choosing almonds over cashews not only stabilizes blood sugar, but also reduces cravings, making it easier to avoid sweets later in the day. Picking walnuts instead of salted pistachios doesn't just protect your brain, it also keeps blood pressure stable, reducing your risk of stroke. Having a Brazil nut daily gives your hormones the support they need, which keeps energy, muscle mass, and mood in balance. One choice doesn't live in isolation. It influences the next one and the next. That's how small changes build momentum. And here's the most encouraging part: the body responds quickly. Within weeks of making better food choices, blood pressure can start to drop, cholesterol can improve, and energy levels can rise. Over months and years, those benefits compound. The earlier you start, the more protection you build, but it's never too late. Even if you've spent decades reaching for the wrong foods, you can still turn the tide by making smarter decisions today. When you hold a nut in your hand, it may seem like a tiny thing, but remember that inside that nut are powerful nutrients, healthy fats, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals that directly feed your heart, brain, and hormones. You don't have to measure, count, or overthink it. You just need to choose the right ones consistently. That's how small daily actions lead to big, life-changing results. So remember, the nuts you choose are not just snacks, they are decisions about your future. Limiting the ones that raise blood sugar, fuel inflammation, and add unnecessary strain keeps your body safe. Choosing the ones that protect your brain, support your heart, strengthen your bones, and balance your hormones gives you the best chance at staying strong, sharp, and independent. At this stage of life, it isn't about perfection. It's about consistency, intention, and honoring your body with the fuel it truly needs. Every handful is an opportunity. Every choice is a chance to invest in years of vitality. And the power to do that rests completely in your hands.